Hello, everyone. This is Emily Brindberry, and I will be talking about my map for our Market Basket project. So, to start off, I would like to tell you my question, and I can repeat it multiple times during this presentation so you do not forget what I am talking about. So, to start off, my research question is, how accessible are grocery stores and dollar stores to neighborhoods in the city of Elkhart, Indiana? Are any stores within 1 mile walking distance? Do more bus stops need to be added to assist neighborhood people who may not be able to walk to stores? So what I'm looking at is the neighborhood accessibility to and from bus stops and grocery and dollar stores, which provides a given area and time value for walking and or depending on the bus. I'm looking at which neighborhoods are in the need of bus stops. I thought about using stores, but bus stops is probably a better recommendation to add rather than a grocery store because I don't expect telling Walmart to add another location. So, how I decided on what I was looking at was starting off with grocery stores. So, through the market basket, that grocery stores obviously have enough food and nutritional needs for a healthy diet. So that's why I decided with that metric. And when collaborating with another student on research questions, they recommended to do dollar stores as well because they also have almost every food available, if not everything. So I added that as well. And I also added the walking because I'm not sure how many families in Elkhart, Indiana actually have cars. So I wanted to take that within walking from a bus stop and or walking from a grocery store to and from their home. And bus stops is because it's a good use of accessibility and travel. So I wanted to use that as well. So to start with my map, first what I did is I added the Elkhart neighborhood map onto QGIS just to have a good starting point on my locations and my barriers. Next, what I did is I geocoded Snap and WIC addresses into Google Earth Pro, and I then inputted that into QGIS. No, I am not looking at Snap and WIC recipients, although it is a good location point when overall looking at the map later and seeing where residents do live and how this question of mine does actually apply to them. Next, I geocoded the market basket data into Google Earth Pro, and I then input it into QGIS. And then the final step with two other students in our class, we manually typed out all of the bus stop, trolley stop locations in Elkhart. Some of them are beyond our borders, but it was just, we wanted to get everything in there just to show it distance-wise. And after that, I brought that data into Google Earth Pro, geocoded it, then brought all the data back into QGIS. So then bringing me with all my data points in the map, I started with the market basket data and I performed a query on both grocery stores as well as the dollar stores. As you can see, grocery stores are labeled with a teal triangle and dollar stores with an orange triangle. I wanted to do triangles the same thing to locate stores. And then next, I have my Elkhart bus stops. And here I styled them to be purple and polygons just to locate with a different shape. And it was kind of different and fun and appealing to the eye. And then you can see that there's all these little red dots everywhere across the map, even in the border lines that do not actually fit into our neighborhood boundary. So those are the Snap and WIC addresses. And instead of having all the dots and family addresses that were on the list, I wanted to avoid people knowing their locations and just to keep their privacy, I performed the analysis of a point cluster where here I added about 40 points. And that's why some of these dots have numbers in the middle, and that is showing how many houses are within that dot. So some of them might say 18, so those, and that dot circulates a general area of 18 SNAP and WIC recipients. And then I added a buffer from the bus stops, and that is the pink circles. So generally I was thinking about a 1 mile radius. That's a good average distance that somebody probably would walk. And I added that onto the map, and then it was very big and obnoxious across the screen, and it was not pleasing to one's eye. So then I added a buffer of 0.5 miles, and it looked a lot better, and it wasn't overpowering everything on the map rather than the mile radius, which was over everything, and it was too much. So I think the 0.5 mile is a lot better going with the rest of the data points on the map, and a person can generally see about doubling the width of the actual buffer, but this gives one to tell, okay, here's about this area, and you can, if you even want to, hold it up with your finger and say, okay, it's about a little bit farther, that's how far it goes. In the buffer, you can see it goes beyond the zone boundaries, but it's just showing the average distance of how far away it is from the center point. So I'll repeat my question again. How accessible are grocery stores and dollar stores to neighborhoods in the city of Elkhart, Indiana? Are any stores within 1 mile walking distance? Do more bus stops need to be added to assist neighborhood people who may not be able to walk to stores? Going back to the walking and the bus stops, as I said before, I don't know how many people actually do have cars, but I know the bus stop is very reliable. And the walking, I did some research on this. The average healthy adult person walks about 3.1 miles per hour. And if you're walking about a mile, that's 15 to 20 minutes walking. Now, say a person is going to a store and they have a handful of groceries and they're walking from home or walking back to the bus stop, and it's cold and it's snowy. I mean, I'm sure I don't want to do that, and I'm sure no one else wants to do that. But if there's a situation where nobody has access to a car, I mean, it's really frustrating. And it's probably really hard on that person. But that's why I was looking into this research question to see the distance and see if there are more bus stops that need to actually be added to help these people who may be in this certain situation. So what I found after creating everything in my map is I would recommend adding a bus stop in the northeastern corner on East Bristol Street or an intersection of East Bristol with Cobblestone Boulevard. So if you're following my pointer here, in this area here, near this teal triangle, it's not the northernmost point, but at least here. So I zoomed in and I was looking at all my data, and I don't think that there's a bus stop that's relatively close. And there's even a Martin's store right there. So I think that would be a perfect place to add a bus stop. And that way people can have access to the Martins and travel to other locations. And there's even more than multiple actually, SNAP and WIC recipients. So that's why I thought it was a good idea to have those family addresses, just so it's a good location, say, okay, there's many people that actually do rely on the bus stop and these stores to provide them food. And as I was searching other areas in the zone boundary, I feel like that they don't really need them. There's plenty of bus stops, and as I was zooming in closer and closer, so the northwestern corner over here, I thought, wow, a big gap. I cannot believe that there's no bus stop there. And then I took off the zone boundary and went to the OpenStreetMap. It's the Elkhart Airport. So obviously nobody's going to be needing a bus stop there, as there's one to the east of the airport. So that would be able to get people there. And that is the only spot I believe personally that should be added. And I want to thank everyone for listening.